which I've never had to do before, but I appreciate it. Thank you. Can you go out and see if you can hear me? Hello? Can y'all hear me? Hi, Carolyn. I'm going to see if I can spin up a little bit here. Hi, Erin. Hi, Nicole. Can everybody hear me? I hope. Sorry, ladies, I don't know what was going on. I was having... Hi, Sandra. Hi, Lee. Okay, everyone can hear me, yes? I need a yay or a nay. Perfect. Okay. Okay. I'm so sorry. I was having some technical difficulties, and my husband's not home tonight to help me, so we were trying to FaceTime each other, and my Hannah and her friend tried to help, and anyway, I'm here. Okay, so let me just make sure where my frame is for this guy here. I think I'm going to come up a little bit more. How's that look? There we go. A little bit more. Okay. For some reason, the camera wasn't connecting and I didn't know how to figure it out. But we figured it out, and thank goodness for teenagers. So we are finishing up. I hope everybody had a lovely long weekend. It's been a couple weeks since we've gotten together on this. I'm starting to get some sun, which is, you know, as long as you have proper sun care, like your sunscreen and that kind of stuff, it is good for the soul. It helps me. I had some great family time, and I hope everybody else did. I hope everybody had a chance to do a couple of the things on the to-do lists and got some good quality family time in. Okay, so this is where we left off. We did our front little tuck spot and our front topper. And I do find that because I went up and I didn't come right to the bottom, when I go to open it, it all flips open. So I will probably hide some magnets in there, but we'll do that when we start doing the embellishments. And I think I might add a little trim here because you can see, not that I mind, but you can see some glue coming through there too. Okay, so what we're going to be working on tonight is our, I don't know if you can tell, I took a sanding block, just a normal sanding block, and I distressed my paint. Obviously we'll be, pasting a lot of stuff on the insides, but I did the edges. I like the look of it. Again, to each their own. So we're going to be doing this front flap and the inside of this front flap tonight. Hopefully. That's my plan. We'll get our little topper out of the way. Now I haven't done, I've prepped all of the structured pieces of the flap. I haven't done any of our tucks or anything like that. Figured we will just catch up on that. Hi, Barb. So let's get to it. I've been busy. I've been a busy girl. So what I've done here, this is my thought process here. So I've taken this piece and I did measure. We're looking at about 4 7/8 by 8 3/4, and I tore it. I used my ruler and I just tore the edges. I like the look of it. I'm actually going to be keeping this as a pocket. So I have already taped as well. We're going to put that there. Now with this guy, I'm creating another pocket. And I put tape on the one side, but I don't know how to cover it right now. I want it as a pocket. So I want this one to open like this, and I want this one to open like this. So I might even just leave it and hope it doesn't come away. Actually, they make tools for people like me. Oh, and I wanted, so this guy measures 8 3/8 by 2 1/4 this way. And I used some acetate from the store. I made this side a little bit thicker, not intentionally, it just worked that way, so I want it on my my outside. But they do make a tool for this, so let's see how good. Let's just move this guy out of the way. Oh, bumped you, sorry. Okay. So, we'll lose our little sniffy tool. Probably not the true intention of the tool, but probably where I will be using it the most. Not gonna lie. Just gonna give it a little bit of a wipe. Although I don't mind the cloudiness of that. And then, oh, I just sent the paper clip flying. The stickiness is gone. It's all gone. And it's gonna smell lovely. Win-win. Okay. So I think I'm going to stick this on first. Let's just fold this guy up. Get it out of the way. So, I'm having so much fun with this lap book and so many ideas coming and going and wanting to use them all and knowing I won't be able to. Oh, straighten that out. There we go. So what I found the easiest was, this is just that green file folder again, this brown strip. And what I did was I cut the length and size I wanted. I actually used my ruler as my template for my window. Don't ask me why it's not straight, but that's me. And then I put the tape, the score tape, on all sides, and then I laid it on my acetate, and then I cut my acetate off instead of trying to cut the acetate sheet and get that to sit, like, lay properly. Just a little trick of the trade. Okay, so we'll get this guy in. Hi, Michelle. And again, I only did the outside and the bottom. Kind of use it more as a tuck spot for bigger items. So we'll peel that off. Oh. There we go. And a little bit of glue because I'm assuming this is going to be a well-loved little pocket. Well, it's not little, and that's why it'll be well-loved. Everybody can see. Okay, yeah, gotta make sure. I don't have my helper, like I said earlier. She's got a friend over, so they're here, but they're not here, you know? And there. So I do want, I wanted that green to show, the distressed green. You can make your flat pocket a little bit bigger if you want to cover the whole thing, however you decide to to go about your cover there. Okay, and then our inside, excuse me, we'll drink here. So, this is a lot more interactive. So, this is our mat, and I did pretty much, I left a little tiny bit of a border, but it's mat inside, so it's approximately the same. So it's going to be a little bit smaller unless you want to cover that spine piece. Sorry, it'll be a little bit thinner, not smaller, thinner. I went up to that spine piece, but you can absolutely cover it. So this actually measures 4 3/4 by 8 5/8. So it's 2/8 longer, and it's a little shorter, like I said, because I butted it up against. I'm not going over it, but you can, as long as you don't go over that fold line, you'll be fine. So you can make yours, you know, that big plus. So this I'm actually using as a direct mat. So it's just going down. So I'm going to do that. And that was the front cover piece. Oh, jeez. Leave it to me to then glue the wrong side. Although, depending, the collage effect on the front here is not terrible. And like I said, basically just lining it up with that spine piece and then pressing down. Okay. Now we are doing, I'm choosing to do a flip up. And this is my flip up. So that's my flip that will be taped, glued to the bottom, and I made 1/8 of a spine basically on it, so that if it gets filled in here, it'll have a bit of a ledge. Now, instead of putting your mat down first and then your flip, you can do your flip first and then your mat, which is I don't mind either way. I am going to just make small cuts here. Those out of the way. Just want to make sure I'm not missing any comments. It's hard to do 3 things at once. Okay, so I chose this piece. To me, it just looked really inviting to be on my front. So I measured that the same way, off of that spine piece. So the flip up is 9 3/4 by 9. And the reason for that is at the top, I have scored at 3/4 and 7/8. So that just, those were the markings that were on my scoreboard when I laid my 9-inch piece down. And that gave me my 1/8 of a spine. So I am going to put this on next. I'm going to do it upside down. And we want to make sure that that score line stays on the outside, right? Like, so it's basically so that it's lined up with the top of your book. So I'm actually going to move it to the right side because I'm right-handed. A little bit of glue. And then I'm going to use the score line as my marker, basically. There we go. Now, I have decided to put a pocket here. So it's going to flip up, and then this will be a pocket. Again, so I left two sides, sorry, I ripped all of it. It's just more prominent on the side that will become the pocket. So I ripped that again, and if that's not your style, then by all means just cut it. The long pocket is 3 1/8 by 7 3/8 long. 3 1/8 by 7 3/8. We will open that up. Now, because of the weekend, and I was doing a bunch of things, including prepping for this, I did go to the store. I got some new stuff, but what I thought might have lasted us an hour might not. So we might be able to do some other things. And I'm going to line it up, probably come about 1/8 off the edge, and then line it up so that that wood shows. There you go. So now we have a pocket there. I'll give that a little press. I might just cover that up because I have some scrap pieces as well. Oh, that looks great. You know what? While we're here, that looks really cool. Okay, wait. Getting ahead of ourselves. Okay, so I also created a pocket with that same file folder. Craft cardstock works too, or any of your background papers. And I want to put it on the front. I wanted something when you first open, you can have some stuff in there. But I also wanted to basically maintain the picture. So I thought about doing another acetate, and then I thought about doing this. And I like the looks of it. I'm going to embellish the front of this pocket as well. Hi, Lynn. Once we get to that part. But I don't know, I liked the way that looked. So we'll get that stuck on. So yeah, so we will probably have some time, I think, maybe not, depending, now that I had some technical difficulties and ran a little behind. I'm just going to put a couple dots. I used, what is this? 3/8, no. I used the smallest score tape because I wanted to get the most out of the pocket, right? So I'm just coming right to the very bottom. So I'm giving myself as much as that visual element as possible. I was considering making it a little bit smaller too, and then I thought, well, then is the pocket really a pocket? I mean, it would be a pocket, but you know what I mean. What could it actually hold? So there's our little guy there. I flip up. Our pocket there. I might just use that piece, so I'll keep that on to the side here. And then I made, using the papers, I made a little file folder. I have an old template from a digital file that I grabbed a while back, and I found it in my stash, and I thought, you know what, this is going to work perfectly. So my thoughts is I'm going to line it up with my edges. I haven't put any tape on it because I was undecided. So I did decide, so this is all the paper line. This is all the paper line. I did decide to make a pocket for the inside. Oh, and I forgot to, this is why I keep everything out. Get the edges in here, just to define it, that it's 2. Again, this was just a piece of the scrap from when I had started ripping. So yeah, so I did tape this up for 2 pockets to put in here, right? And it'll start this way. But I'm not sure. I think I might make this a pocket too. Because when you open it up, it'll be like that. So do we make it a tuck? Yeah, let's make it a tuck. Let's do it. Okay, I'm gonna get this guy out of the way for a minute. And I'm gonna line up using the spine. And I'm coming right to the bottom. And then I will take these side pieces off. If they want to cooperate. And hopefully, because it wasn't 100% a straight piece, I just kind of winged it. Again, I liked that ripped edge look. Oh man, that posed more difficult than I thought. And then, oh yeah, it's gonna work. A little poofy, but that is okay. See if I can get it to smooth out there. Okay. So we'll get some tape on this guy. It really is, Laura. Thanks, Erin. I appreciate that. I really am loving this paper. I also fell in love, and I'm sure most of you have seen, I think it's called the Vintage Library. I fell in love with it the moment I saw it on the live, and I bought all of the things. Absolutely breathtaking. I'm also a huge Harry Potter fan, so it was right up my alley, and I haven't decided, but I'm definitely going to use some bits and pieces of it in my reading journal that I have going, which is going very well, by the way. I know I had talked about it in some earlier videos and kind of showed you the beginnings of, and my goal was 24 books for the whole year. I wanted, that's, you know, it's only 2 books a month. That was my thought process, right? That was my gift to myself. I'm currently reading my 21st book already this year. So I'm hoping I will exceed that. And then I'm going to be doing some embellishing on here too. But this is just the foundational part. Okay. So I mean, you can put it kind of more in the middle if you'd like. I am gonna bring it right down. That will allow me to get more things in there, bigger things in there. So let's get this guy stuck down, and then I'll show you the inspiration for the front I had. And just a little bit, because we'll be kind of opening and closing this guy. And I'm going to line it up with my mat to the best of my abilities. There we go. Get in there. Okay, so we now have a tuck, 2 pockets. Yeah, 2 pockets. And now we can keep the front the way it is. Like I said, I did get the ephemera pack. Ephemera, I've heard it all different ways. So I want to use that at the end, kind of an embellish, you know, like these in our pockets and that kind of stuff. But remember last video, I had cut some of the, where is it? I had cut some of the map, the map looking paper. And we had used it, and the girl was in the whole bodied fairy, and I cut her feet and glued her feet. Well, I cut her out. And look how absolutely perfect she goes. In my opinion, for me, right? So our file folder, mini file folder is, I forgot to mention that, I apologize ladies, is when cut 8 3/8 by 5 7/8, and then I scored at the 4-inch mark because that allowed me to have that tab. Wow, words are hard. Hi Deborah. Yes, Michelle. Hi Heather. Where are we? Double side. Laura, you have a double side. I don't want to wreck either one. Same. So this has really forced me to go outside of my personal comfort zone. I'm the exact same way. Because the paper is absolutely stunning, and you really have to make a decision. I don't want to not use it. That's the whole point to this tutorial, and to show you, like I said, maybe get yourself 2 packs and then you do have one of everything. It's an option. So back to my girl. I am putting her there. And I did fussy cut, obviously. I did leave a bit of a border, and that is, oh my goodness. I used my ink as well, just to kind of give her some dimension, have her pop off that page. I love it. I considered putting her back here and having her kind of like peekaboo. Can you see that? I hope. Oh, thanks, Laura. I appreciate the support. So I thought about doing this, but then that stunning outfit is then covered. So I'm going to put her out front and center. I might do something else after the fact. She fit absolutely perfect, and that I didn't have to cut any more off of her. That's literally where I cut. So it worked out. And I am just going to straight up glue her down. She was clearly the inspiration for the paper line, and this little character's been the inspiration for my book, my creativity when it comes to making this. So pay homage to her and have her right there. Now the other thing I was thinking was kind of gluing either jute or some type of sari silk around this and have it tied. However, then you couldn't have your pocket because it would constantly get stuck on that part. Or putting it around, behind the entire mat. That is an option too, and it's still something I'm playing around with and thinking for one of the other sections, but I really didn't want anything obstructing her when, when you open this up. So your layers are showing, right? I did that on oh, you guys can't, I'm out of frame. Thanks, Barb. I think she looks great there too. So yeah, so your layers are showing, which I'm a fan of. If you're not, bring your paper down. That's fine. Flip up. We got our pocket, and we'll decorate that at a later date. Do I want this here? Do I want that there? Do I want... Ooh, there is... Where's my paper? Oh, that was here. Okay, there is, I believe... What happened? My computer screen went black. I hope everybody else was still seeing me. Oh, perfect, Heather. More is coming in. Whoop, whoop. Okay. just wanted to make sure I was caught up, that everything was good. Okay, so there is this lovely page here. And we are gonna use one right now. Okay, which one? So we have that on the front, the adventure. Always believe in magic. You know, because it will be showing when she's there. The forest is filled with magic and secrets. Oh, love it. I think I'm going to use this one. Yeah. I think I'm going to use this one. Into the forest I go to lose my mind and find my soul. Oh, man, I'm liking all of these. There's my little scissors here. So, I'm going to attempt to fussy cut, but really what I'm doing is I'm holding my scissors straight and moving my paper to give it some of that texture. And the other thing you can do is just grab your ruler and rip it right off. Just rip her. Whatever you're more comfortable with. And it is definitely darker because it's on the dark wood. So I'm going to try to ink as much as I can. It will show on the cream. Let's get the paper out of the way there. Okay. Move that out of the way. Where's my inker? All right. I'm going to layer it. Let's see if I... Ooh, that's even nicer. Oh, I'm going to use this one. Fell in love with this one. That is actually perfect size. So, I'm going to use this to measure the size. And then, now we want the brown. But I'm going to save this other bit. Now we won't be able to see the ink, but I also don't want to see the white. So I'm just inking a little bit around those cut edges. There's that. Oh, up here. So we'll put that up there. Okay, I'm liking that. Sorry if my head's in the way. I don't know. Okay. Oh, we're good for time. We're good for time. Uh-oh, I didn't put my there. Here, kind of going right up to that score mark, not over it, but up to it. Give it a bit of a press. I'm going to put it kind of off to the side here. Yeah. Nope. There we go. There we go. Like I said, there's going to be much more going on here, but that is, nope, that is not how it goes, Katie. Okay, so we open, we fold out, we flip up to our pocket, and we have our file folder and our pocket. So we have lots of spaces to fill with lots of goodies. Now I do have a question for everybody that's watching tonight and everybody that will be watching on the replay. I would like to know what you prefer. So a lap book is meant, like well, a lap book can be anything you want your lap book to be. The concept or the creation behind it was so that you could, you know, take your whole journaling kit basically and go sit somewhere, dining room table, couch, in your bed, and have all your stuff with you to journal with. So obviously the key part of that is a signature. My thoughts was I was going to create a fancy spine piece that instead of, well, not instead of, basically like a traveler's notebook, so that when you fill your signature, you're able to remove it so that you can put a brand new one in and continue to go. And there's a couple ways we can do that. We can do that with elastic, like we did with the soft cover, or we can do that with some type of tying mechanism. So, you know, perfect, jute, right? So it would be in here and would be behind the spine piece we made. So it can't be removed, but that's what you would, you know, tie your signature in with, so that once it's filled, you can remove it and put a new one in. Or we can, we can sew it in, and then once it's full, it's full. That's the disadvantage. And you have all of this, you will have all of this space, right? So I'm leaning towards the removable signature. Let me know what you guys think. I want, like I said, I want to, you know, show you guys as much as I can too. So this is just the paint. I'm peeling the paint off. Sorry, super annoying. I want to do what you guys want, right? I don't want to do something you're not going to enjoy. Now, regardless of what we choose to do on screen, you can choose your own thing as well. So, the other thing we could think of, it's going to be hard that we've built the spine up, but it's not chipboard here, remember? So we could look at sewing and having exposed thread. So that's an option too, but again, once the signatures are full, they're full, and that part of the lap book pretty much becomes not usable, right? But all options, all things considered. Okay, so I'm sure you're waiting, and if you didn't know I was going to wait till the end, well, you haven't been watching enough of our videos. So I have been asked by Heather and Dan to join the design team on, I guess, a little bit more of a full-time basis is what it's going to kind of work out to be. So not just doing the journaling segments. I'm going to keep doing this kind of thing, but adding to it. And I've been asked to basically, what's the word? I don't know. I want to say I'll be the Tim Holtz person. I don't know a better way of saying that. So realistically, what Heather and Dan are carrying now, some of the things that they'll be getting in or we can get in or that kind of stuff. So all things Tim Holtz. All things Tim Holtz. So we'll probably go down to one junk journal segment a month, and then I will be on twice a month doing Tim Holtz projects and what's the word? What's the word? Not only projects, but also showing you how to use a lot of the stuff too. So that goes for, you know, his alcohol inks, some of his texture pastes, his papers, his dyes, his stamps, his watercolor pencils, all of that kind of stuff. I am super, super excited. Tim Holtz, what he does, what he creates, what he provides the crafted community I've always been awestruck and also a little overwhelmed. So Heather thought it was a great way to introduce it and to show everyone. I'm sure you've seen his stuff and you think that is so cool, but how do I use it or what do I do with it? And that's where I'm going to come in. So we will be starting the Tim Holtz journey on Wednesday, June 7th. And then I will be back, I believe, on the 21st of June. Let me just take a quick look here. So I'm going, yes, sorry. Just wanted to confirm before I give wrong information. I will be the first and the third Wednesday of every month. The Tim Holtz specialist. There we go. It's hard to kind of, I don't know, toot your own horn sometimes. I'm really, really excited. There is so much. I have already been learning so much with him and his makers and his stuff and the stuff that he offers. We are, I believe, Heather, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe we're going to start with, sorry, I'll give you something prettier to look at. I believe we're going to start with the Chapter 3 series from Tim Holtz. His dies, I think some of his stamps, all of the things. All of the things. So I'd be really interested. You can comment on the video or you can reach out, like DM me if you're more comfortable. If you've ever seen something or seen a product in the store and you thought, I would really like to know how to use that, or that's really cool looking, but what do you do with it? Those are the things. I already have a bunch of ideas kind of going. But I also want to ensure I'm not missing out on some of the things that you guys are looking for, right? So my craft avenue is not the same as everybody's and vice versa. So I want to make sure that I'm not just showing you one simple thing or something that's new to me, but you guys already all know and you're actually wanting, you know, to see X, Y, and Z kind of thing. So one of the things I'm super, super looking into is I'm obsessed with his grungy vintage vibe, right? So I have already been playing around with some of his alcohol inks, and it's going to be so much fun. It's going to be so much fun. So if you're not familiar with Tim Holtz's Chapter 3, do a quick search, get yourselves familiar. That's where we're going to start. Heather's getting stuff into the store. as well for it. The dyes are probably something I'm also the most excited about, and just doing all of the things. So I appreciate it. I appreciate the support, not only from all of you guys watching, but from Heather and Dan too. I'm excited about this, I guess, new opportunity for me, as well as, you know, you guys, because it's going to open up a whole different world, because Tim Holtz, Tim Holtz is overwhelming to me, but because of being approached and stuff, I've done a lot of research and I'm super excited, and I cannot wait to start sharing, the things that I've learned and the things that I want to learn, and I'd like to know the things you guys want to learn too. So thanks again. Thanks for your patience tonight. Sorry about the technical issues. Um, Whenever I seem to think I have it fixed, something always happens. And again, I appreciate all the support. Thanks so much, and we will see you on the next video. Bye.